Let's look at a few scenarios where you might feel like something's going wrong in your app because you can't tap an object. I'm going to run my app here just to show you what happens. With this slider, when you drag it, this bird moves. However, if I were to add a text object, and just for the sake of illustrating things a little bit more easily to see, I'm going to change the background color of my page. And I want to change this text object so that there is no text in it. And it is transparent in style, which means it's clear. So I'm going to drag it to be over the slider here. And let's say that I was developing my app and I forgot that this was here. Later, when I run my app, I might be trying to move this slider and then wondering why it's not letting me move it. I actually can't move it because that text object is on top of it. Even though it is clear, it still has substance and it's still there above the slider and it's blocking my access to the slider. So to fix that, let's say that you had maybe made this something that you added a border to it and you wanted a nice little border kind of around the slider. So there's kind of a real world application for why you might want to use that. If you actually wanted that around your slider, what you would need to do is tap anywhere on your page to bring up the page editor, go to the Objects tab, and then find that text object. While I'm in here, I'm going to name this border. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this border and I'm going to drag it to be below the slider here. So to do that, I'm just going to tap the red minus sign, use the hamburger icon to drag the border below the slider, and I'm done. Now I'm going to run my app, and you'll see that I can access the slider again just as before. Another thing that might happen is you might feel like you're tapping and your editor isn't popping up. If that's the case, double check your settings through the home screen in your profile icon. There's a double tap to edit feature here. If you've turned this on at one point and then later forgot that you turned it on or something, you will probably be used to tapping just one time for your editor to pop up. So here I am tapping. Any other time, tapping would bring up the editor for this object. You can see for the bird here, I'm able to highlight the object with its bounding box and its editor doesn't pop up. Same with the slider, same with this text object. It now requires me to double tap to see the editor for that object. So if that's the case, maybe you've toggled on some new settings that you're just not quite used to. You don't have the muscle memory yet for it. If that's the case, double check that setting there and make sure that if you want it on, it's on. If you want it off, it's off. So those are 2 tips for troubleshooting if something's happening in your app making experience that isn't quite as expected.